And we now move on, and we have with us Harsh Bharwani. He is Vice President of Jet King Infotrain. I know him since many years. He is himself a great speaker, a motivational speaker. Thank you,
Yes,
Harsh. Over to you, Harsh.
definitely. So let me quickly introduce to you Anjali Sharma. She is the Managing Director, Narrative, the Business of Story, Singapore. So Anjali is one of the leading business storytelling consultants in Asia Pacific. She helps business leaders, data analysts, sales professionals, and TEDx speakers find and tell stories. See, Anjali has worked in corporate roles for over 15 years in Australia, Singapore, and India. Her background consistently informs her work so that it is not just theoretical, but based on extensive experiences, knowledge, and understanding of strategic issues facing companies and of the issues facing employees in delivering their best for their companies. See, Anjali works with global 1,000 companies, including Shell, SAP, Microsoft, and Danone. She regularly publishes her ideas on business storytelling. So I hand over this to Anjali Sharma, and she can enlighten us with her experience and knowledge.
Thank you. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Yes, I assume so. So,
Yes, we can.
Harsh, thank you for the enthusiasm you demonstrated in telling people who I am. Many thanks for that. For the rest of you, I have put myself through a challenge today that I will get off PowerPoint crutches and talk to you straight. So if the organizers have an ability to actually spotlight my video, then that's great. If not, I'll just continue like this. So let's begin. I have 10 minutes and I'm going to talk to time. So I'm a story practitioner, clearly. I tell stories, but isn't it ironical that in the next 10 minutes as I speak to you, if any one of you either feels or says, Anjali ji, kahani mat batao, get to the point, I wouldn't be able to live with that. So let me start by saying this is about storytelling, but not the kind that makes you say, get to the point, but the one that makes you say, I truly got the point. There is a difference. My goal is simple today. It is to show you, demonstrate to you, not tell you, how storytelling can help you build agility and strength for organizational success. And given the collective trauma we're all living in, I will remain focused on agility and strength during crisis. So let's begin. On the 5th of May this year, Brian Chesky, CEO and co-founder of Airbnb, wrote a letter to his employees. And in that letter, he wrote that out of 7,500 employees of Airbnb, 1,900 are going to have to say goodbye to the company. That is 25% of the employee workforce. 26th of June, 2020, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, we all Indians are very proud of, announced that all the retail stores of Microsoft are closing. On just about 40 hours ago, as I was prepping to talk to all of you, the CEO of LinkedIn, Ryan Rosensky, announced that LinkedIn is not immune to the impact of the crisis we are facing, and 960 people will be laid off. Quite earlier on in the crisis, on the 20th of March 2020, a frail-looking, bald, being treated for cancer, pancreatic cancer to be very specific, Arna Sorensen, CEO of Marriott International Hotels, showed up on a video, a 5-minute plus video, which was put up on YouTube, talking to his employees about the effect of COVID-19 it has had on the employees of Marriott International Hotel. Now, it's clear that in a crisis situation, every leader responds. But the point here is that why is it that some leaders get immense amount of love, admiration, and have the power to pull the people into the direction of agility and success, and others don't quite get the same reaction? In this case, Arna Sorensen was able to do that. I want to very quickly read out to you the commentary he received when he put out a video about the impact of COVID-19. Now, just like every other leader, he was also sharing bad news. He wasn't sharing good news. But the commentary goes like this. Take note, politicians, this is what real leadership looks like. What a lovely man. Real leadership in the face of adversity. I literally could feel his compassion and empathy as he spoke. Well done, sir. Now that's leadership by example, an impressive message and much needed in the difficult times. Wait, hang on. Some of you may be thinking, oh, maybe these people are just in the public domain and speaking because they're not the ones who are affected and not working in Marriott International Hotel. That is why they can talk like this and in a public domain clap for Anna Sorensen. But here is a commentary from Marriott Associates who work there, been a Marriott Associate for 10 years. Love you, Anna, and we are going to get through this together. If you watch his commentary online, it's not just the common public, it's the masses, it's also the Marriott Associates who show their admiration for Anna Sorensen repeatedly. So why? Why is it that some leaders are loved and others are not? Because in a crisis situation, everybody responds and they forget that rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is a connection, a quote by Dr. Brene Brown. And Anna Sorensen gets that. And that connection often is wrapped in a story you tell. So my assertion for today is that your response in a crisis situation is not going to help you build agility and success. What is going to help you build agility and strength for organizational success is a connection that you display through a story you tell. And if you are with me across the screen wanting to know what are some of the things these people are doing that is making them successful in a crisis situation, I will share a couple of things that I have obsessively decoded these leaders' language and learned. So Anna Sorensen's video is about 5 minutes, few seconds. And when I decoded this video word by word, a story structure evolved from it. There are total 13 elements in that story structure that he's followed, but there are broadly 3 major structures. Now, I'm going to share some of these tips with you. If any one of you is interested in getting the decode of his 5 minutes plus video, please let me know and I'll put it in the chat, the link to it in the chat. Now, let's have a look. So the first point that I want you to be aware of is the power of the voice, the oral storytelling. In a crisis situation, the leaders who choose oral storytelling as a mode to communicate seem to get better understanding and engagement from their audiences. A very famous author and thought leadership person, Malcolm Gladwell, recently said in an interview that we feel from our ears and we think from our eyes. What does he mean? What he means is that in an emotionally charged situation, which a crisis situation is, people need to hear your voice because they feel through their ears, and the crisis situation is emotionally charged. If it wasn't emotionally charged, you wouldn't see in some countries panic buying and toilet paper rolls disappearing from the shelves. There is absolutely no data, no rationale, no reason, no logic that informs that we are going to run out of toilet paper rolls in a crisis situation. But in the crisis situation where we lose sight of every rational explanation, we go back to being emotional. That is the time where leaders have to use the power of their voice and do oral storytelling. Anna Sorensen's success is also because very early on in the crisis situation, he got up and came in front of his people through a video and used the power of his voice. If there's anybody who had a reason not to show up, it was him, because he's being treated for pancreatic cancer and he's bald. He even jokingly says in his video that, you know, given my current condition, my team was really not supportive of the fact that I turn up and talk to you because I am bald right now because of the treatment. So it was him who could have had every single excuse, but he did not do that. Your voice is needed more than ever right now. Every other leader that I have talked to you about right at the beginning has done a written storytelling, but Anna Sorensen has opted for oral storytelling. Now I want to move to the next point. The next point is the intention in the messaging. So it's not like someone turns up and says, tell a story. It's not that stories are just so intuitive and so kind of fluid that you can just press a button and they come out of you. Yes, we are wired to storytell. However, in a corporate setting, we have to have a very intentional structure to our story. We have to be able to tell it in a way that it truly lands. So when you look at Anna Sorensen's talk and many of the successful leaders' talks who have spoken during the crisis situation, they usually stick to three big parts. And I want to kind of tell you what are those three big parts. So they kind of start off with the part of the impact of COVID-19. This is how it is negative. They don't sugarcoat. So some of the lines from that section of his story are, we are 75% down in our revenue. This a company like ours that is born out of Great Depression, who's lived through global financial crisis, has never seen the business go down so much. It is a really bad situation, one that we have never seen. We are going to have 50% pay cut for all the senior executive. Me and Mr. Marriott are not going to take salary for the rest of the 2020. We are going to put a dark space on our marketing and advertising. All things real, the negative state, no sugarcoating whatsoever. He speaks exactly how it is. But very quickly then, he knows the importance of moving people from the negative to the positive. What is it and what could it be? In the what could it be, he builds a hopeful end. But hopeful, when the moment leaders hear the word hopeful, they start thinking it's like those foofy language, right? Don't worry, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. But hope is not just one of those things. It is actually science-based. There is a real evidence in hope. How does Anna Sorensen bring credibility to his hope? He doesn't just say flowery things. What he does is to juxtaposition a country that is already ahead in the curve from us. Sorry, it is China. I know the current sentiment against China. However, sorry, it is China. He says we've seen the early signs of manufacturing recovery from China, which gives us hope that soon we will be able to get on that path as well. So he positions his hope on a success story elsewhere, which makes people believe rather than just give statements that sound fluid and a figment of his imagination. Now, the other thing that is quite prevalent in his message is determination. There are so many times in his speech, in his storytelling, he actually says, and I have never been more determined to get the company back online. A lot of the leaders say, I feel for you. I know how you feel. It's really difficult times, but nobody or very few of them actually demonstrate the determination they have to move the company forward. So basically, if you look at the structure, this is where we are. This is how it is. This is the effort we have to make. And this is the hopeful, determined end that we need to get to. As I mentioned, if any one of you is really interested in getting the entire breakdown of this, we're happy to put it in the chat. So quickly, in a summary, what I just said to you, choose the power of your voice, do oral storytelling. When you tell the story, structure the story into three big parts. How is it? What's the effort we are making to change it? And when we change it, where do we get with hope and determination? And when you do that, you will be able to stand in front of your people and show them success and build agility for organizational success. And finally, please always remember that rarely can a response make anything better. What makes something better is a connection. I'm going to hand over back to Harsh.
That was a very interesting way to put it. I have a quick question, right? So what do you think leaders in an organization should do as a first step for storytelling when it comes to their business partners, and should it be their customers? Should it be their employees and a lot of vendors also? And what do you think about how should leaders in the organization go about doing this awesome way of storytelling?
Right. So Harsh, I think your question is multi-layered. However, if it is about who do we address first, my answer to you would be we fix our own home first.
Yeah.
And we talk to our own employees first, because when the bearings of our truck are right, we are able to climb the mountains that we need to. But then your question could also be, how do they do it? And I think what a lot of leaders don't recognize is that science stories are scientific. They're practical, logical, methodical. They're not a figment of someone's imagination and do not have a copyright for people like Clint Eastwood who tell movies in Hollywood. So stories are very practical. Remember that, and fix your home before you fix anything else.
Amazing. That's a good thought to end with. Thank you for this lovely presentation on storytelling. I'm going to get deeper into storytelling for my organization also. Now I hand over back to Mehul ji over here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. And
thank you.
Thank you, Harsh.
Yeah.